HORI force feedback racing wheel for the Xbox Series X. This is a beautiful wheel, no hands, no hands. To configure wheel so you can get it like this, set your wheel up in the RWD app for this on the Microsoft Store for the Series X or the Series S. Put that app on your system first. Turn down the force feedback, and then I would say it's set to 8. I would say turn it down to like 4, and then come into Forza Horizon 5, and then do your settings in the game. Because the force feedback, if you don't turn it down and you play the game, you're not going to get a enjoyable experience. You're not going to get your handle for your wheel like this. It's going to be shaking all over the place violently, and then it's going to affect your car. Then you're going to get like fishtailing. So turn down the force feedback in the app itself, and then come into the game settings. You see that? It's not going violently all over the place. And I'll show you my settings in the game what I'm using, so you can get that stableness right there, because that's what you want. I got this wheel on Friday. I've been playing with it since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It just took me now, today, to finally get the wheel where I was happy with the performance of it, not feeling mechanical, because this is not a direct drive like a Fanatec. It's not like gear and belt like Thrustmasters or the Logitech. They do have those brands, but this is a gear. The except for Fanatic and I think a Thrustmaster. Thrustmasters, I think, primarily is belt and gear. Force feedback, I think they do have a gear driven one. That's the it's like really cheap. I'm thinking about getting that one. Um, but but this is a gear driven force feedback, so you're gonna feel it and you're gonna hear the gears when you're using the wheel, and you don't want to feel that gear feeling when you're using the wheel. You want as less of that feeling, because it's not gonna feel like you're actually driving a car. It's gonna feel more mechanical and more robotic. Only thing on this top part right here that I did change, I kept the vibration on because I like to feel the road, the vibration. Steering linearity. This is how accurate the wheel is. The more you put, the more the car will, like, if you crank this up to 60, or like crank it up to the most, and then when you turn the wheel, you're gonna see the wheel is gonna, it's going like this much is going to turn the wheel like far right. You don't want that. I only put it up one notch because I want the car to turn. You know what I mean? So I put it to one notch. So one for me is perfectly fine. Anything more than I say one, it's going to be ridiculous. Because like I said, the more you turn, the more you amp this up. It's like this much, if not even this much. You're going to be going extremely right. So the more you have this up, the more you're going to turn. So like you're basically making turns like 1 inch, like little increment turns like that. That's basically how you're gonna be driving, using the wheel, driving like this. That's not no fun. All right, that's how like seriously you're gonna be moving the wheel like this. Because if you turn like this, it's gonna be like you're doing a full 360. So the more you have this linearity up, it's undrivable. Um, let's start from the top. So I keep all the clutch axes, e-brake, the pedal. I leave all that alone. I don't touch that stuff. But the vibration here, I crank this up. Force feedback scale. Again, this is like the mechanical feeling if you're using. I don't know how it is with a belt and gear or direct drive. Um, Force feedback, but if you're gear driven like me with a wheel like this, the less you have, the more this is cranked up, the more mechanical feel it's going to be. So right now, if I was to, it's going to be, it's not going to be this fluid. It's going to be like, you're going to hear the gears. And I don't want to hear that. Who was this on? I think it was on 2. Yeah. Center spring, this is how fast when you come out of a turn, you want the wheel to snap back to the 12 o'clock position. This is how basically this um gives you the makes the wheel give you wheel like force in the wheel basically. So like if you want like a very loose, more looser than this, like if you're driving a go-kart, something real like light as a feather, you crank it all the way to the left. If you want some kind, not light as a feather but with some kind of gears, a little feel to it, then you turn it up to the far right. And this is basically the same thing as this, but this is more like to say it's a trail. So basically understeer, oversteer. So like it's basically if you don't want to feel like you're understeering or oversteering, this is it. You know what I mean? So like if you're entering a turn and you don't want to, the car will tell you like that you're entering a turn or you lost traction on the car. Like I don't know, but with this, if I lose traction, it's like a quick boom, and then it'll be on whatever side of the car I just lost traction on. It'll tell me too. Like it's weird. Like I'll know that I lost traction on the back right tire. Like the motors in this is so good. Like you feel it. Like for some strange reason, like I'm entering a turn and like I'll get that bump, boom, but it'll hit somewhere in this box. Like you could tell like it'll be like in the front or in the back of the box, like where that bump would be or that hit, and now indicate to you what part of the car just lost traction. Like if you're going through a right turn and you feel that bump in the back of the a quick bump on the wheel, that means your back tire just lost traction. So basically, this will notify, like if you want to know that you lost that feeling in the traction when you're going through turns, this is what, if you don't want to feel like, oh, I just lost traction, you want to just keep just blowing through the turn and don't adjust to it, then you turn this down. But if you want to feel like, oh, I just lost traction, let me compensate, slow down a little bit so I can still have control, this will notify you. And basically, this is like, uh, how can I best, yeah, all right. Like I said, the bump, if this is the bump to let you know what side of the car you just lost traction, um this is basically the strength of that bump. Like if you want to feel that bump, like how dominant that force you should feel, notifying you that, okay, this side of the car you just lost traction. Is it the left rear or side of the car? This will notify you how strong you want that feeling to be, basically. Um, this is, how could I say the tire load? Uh, mm, I would best say like this is like when you're going through a slalom, like S curves, and you go from a quick left to a right, or those hairpin turns. Basically, how much you want to feel that in the steering wheel. Like when you turn the wheel like this, there's going to be like a little force in the tire to let you know that your tire has grip when you're going through the turn. This is basically that. So like if you're going from like like when you're going through that turn and you're like you'll feel it in the wheel. Like, okay, when you turn the wheel like this, you'll also feel the tire, the like the screeching, the burning of the tire on the asphalt when you turn it like this, and then when you go back like this. So that's basically it, the load sensitivity, how much you want to feel that shifting of the load when you're going through those snake turns from left to right. Do you want to feel that? If you don't want to feel that, then turn it down. But if you like that feeling, that slalom feeling, going through the turns, and you can handle it, because some people might not like that feeling while turning, like the 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 tire and stuff like that. This is basically it. I like that feeling, so I keep it on. And then basically, this is how much, like if you want to feel bumps in the road. This is like if you want to feel bumps. This is like the vibration. Like if you go over, like when you're driving on a highway, and you know how highways have those little, like they when they make highways, they do it in sections. A good highway, you don't feel those that tire transition from each section of the highway. That's basically it. Like, do you want to feel those sections in the highway? Like when I was just driving, if you notice, looking thing, I was going like top speed. I hit a bump, and then the car just dropped back down to like 10 or 15 miles. When I hit that bump, I felt that bump in not force feedback in this, but it was a vibration in the thing. So if you want to feel the bumps in the road and the rocks, the gravel, and all that stuff, basically this is it. And then off-road is the same thing. If you want to feel the water, when you going through water, you want to feel the water on the tires and stuff like that. Basically, this is it. But that's how you do it. You go into the app here. You go into the app. See, I have a Forza. It's on Pro. I'm gonna name this, but Forza 4. You see that right there? I have one for Forza 4. Go into it, but you want to turn down the force feedback on the steering wheel. It's preset to 8. 8 is very obnoxious. On top of what's in the game, it's going to give you a very unpleasant experience. Your car is you're gonna start seeing the steering wheel start shaking violently left and right, and then the car is not gonna fishtail, but you're gonna see the front of the car going back and forth real fast, like blah 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 blah. That's the wheel affecting the force feedback of the wheel affecting the steering of the car. You do not want that. The force feedback should not dictate the steering of the car. So this is how, if you're having that issue with this wheel, this is where you come to fix it. You fix it here, you turn this down, then you go back into the game, fix it there, and then when you have the game set to where you like it, then I would say come back to here and then turn this up. Then you play with this to fine-line it to make it even more better than what it is. But right now, this is the best that I have it set for me on my settings for this force feedback. Like I said, it's butter smooth. Everything is just butter smooth. Look at that. See, look at that. I'm turning the wheel. See that? Butter smooth. No gear feeling. Going through stuff. Look at that. Turning the wheel. I still feel the force of when I turn the wheel like this. Did you see how smooth it is? You want that. Oh yeah, that torque thing is that also when you put your foot on the gas, you feel the tire. See, look at that. And like I said, look, one hand. This is how you want it. One hand, one finger. See this? I'm turning it with one finger. This is how you want it. This is how you know you got a good calibration for your wheel. When you can do this and you see the wheel and the car operate at the same time. You see this? No pressure. Nothing. And look, it's gonna go right back in the snap, right back into place. Perfect. See? Perfect. Went right back into the 12 o'clock position. I set this up real good. There you go. That's how you set your HORI force feedback racing wheel.